Hey everybody, welcome to the Pastime Paradise podcast. I am your host Aaron with my co-hosts
Aldrine and Kai.
And you are here for another one. I guess if this is your first episode, sorry, we're just gonna jump into it.
I like your energy right off the bat, Aaron. I like this, Aaron.
Not be nice to the people that are listening to us or paying us money to listen to us.
Yeah, wow. Oh, I've taught you well.
But this is just like a random hangout podcast for us, but we usually come with something to talk about. And so today I was just kind of thinking about it, like this whole podcast is about us going down rabbit holes as far as like hobbies and things that we're interested in. We kind of have the inability to not do that. So we're the type of people where it's like if we get it in our heads to do something hobby related or interest related, we just kind of go full bore and no limiters. So we pretty much can't stop ourselves from doing that. So I had this idea of like, hopefully we can bring on some guests soon. We keep talking about bringing guests on, some of our friends who are sort of like us, right? That they get into hobbies and things and go deep down the rabbit hole pretty easily.
I think saying sort of like us is a nice way to say it. I think the people we're thinking of are exactly like us.
Yeah. So we'll get some on, and we know some pretty cool people. So our guest list is growing and we just need to get them on. So But I had the idea of like, who are some favorite famous or non-famous people who are pretty much like us, rabbit hole divers. People, I guess, that you might have stumbled across on the internet and you just recognize, like a real recognized reel, you know? It's like, oh damn, this person is basically like me, or even more so, where once they get into something, they can't help themselves. So does anybody want to start?
Yeah, I have an idea of what you mean by that. But I kind of want to hear who you are thinking of, or one of the persons you are thinking of.
Okay, so I guess the person that kind of made me start going down a lot of different rabbit holes just in general is Tim Ferriss. When I think of the rabbit hole diver, the quintessential rabbit hole diver, I think of Tim Ferriss. So like
that's what I was thinking of, man.
Yeah.
Because I just started reading The 4-Hour Body again.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, Tim Ferriss, like Tim, his last name is spelled Ferriss. If you don't know who he is, he's an author and blogger, podcaster, but he's been doing this for such a long time, and he was really the inspiration for a lot of the things that, even just like starting a business early on. Aldrine and I and Ryan started a business a long time ago, and he was one of the first inspirations for really like trying to figure out how to run a small business. But since then, he's gotten into so many different things. He's written books about so many things, and if you just take a look at the way that he approaches learning things or getting into new hobbies or interests, it's just fascinating. He has a process for his diving, his rabbit hole diving, that is just like unparalleled. He sort of takes a look at professionals in that field and breaks down what they do better than they can explain it, basically, you know, so that he could apply it to himself and sort of hack and get good at whatever it is. So one of the things that pops to mind when I think of Tim Ferriss is that early on, when he was getting into things and learning how to do things, he was into ballroom dancing. And so like, I think he basically just like went into it, found like the best people to teach him and just hacked his way into like being a competitive ballroom dancer. Yeah. And if you look at him, he doesn't look the type, you know, his torso is bigger than his legs. He almost like has that gorilla type of body shape. So, somebody who would be like more of a gym bro than a dancer. And somehow he figured out things that he could do to adapt, and he looked at the rules. Like he poured through the rules of competitive ballroom dancing, and then he found loopholes that could make him score points, you know. so
He's
like
a hacker.
Yeah, basically.
Life hacker.
He's sort of done that with everything else that he's approached in life, and he's created a system for learning things and getting to the result that he wants the quickest. And I think in the later half of his life, he's started looking at how can I actually enjoy these things. So,
Yeah, my first exposure, I guess, to Tim Ferriss was the 4-hour work week, because Ryan kept referencing 4-hour work week the whole time, and I'm like, okay, cool, but I didn't really read the book. I just know about it through Ryan. When we started kind of touring and stuff, Ryan introduced the 4-hour body to me, and he actually gifted the book. It's either him or you. Who gave me that book? So one of you guys gave me that book.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It could have been either of us.
Yeah, so Ryan gave me the 4-hour body, and he's just like, oh, this is, by the same guy who wrote that book, 4-hour work week. And as I skimmed through the book, that guy is crazy, deep diver into anything and everything. And I knew he was a real one, where he told that story. He's friends with all these other celebrities and financial dudes and stuff. And one of them was the that guy from Dig. What's his name?
Oh,
not Kevin Rose.
Kevin Rose. Yeah, Kevin Rose. He was with Kevin Rose. They all went out for the weekend or this dinner and stuff. And he's like, this guy is just eating whatever the hell he wants, and then goes to the bathroom stall and just starts doing squats. And then comes back and is like, what the hell was that? It's like, oh, it's so that my body doesn't absorb as much of this and I don't gain weight. It's like, so he's here the entire weekend eating whatever the hell he wants and not gaining a pound while all of us are just getting fatter. I was like, yeah, that guy's real, And then reading the book, and he always has some kind of data to back up any of his claims. So it's pretty insane. That guy's crazy. That was gonna be my choice of deep diver.
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of the person that inspired this question.
Yeah,
so,
he's the guy.
Yeah, so it makes sense that you would think of him first.
Yeah.
Because, even that for the 4-hour body, because he's obsessed with quantifying, his progress.
Yeah.
And he's had muscle biopsies, which is not the most pleasant experience.
Yeah.
But he just wanted to know the composition of his muscle fibers so that he could optimize for himself, right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That guy's insane, man. So I'm glad we started with Tim Ferriss, because that's probably going to be the best answer to this question.
Yeah, I've never met him in real life, but
yeah,
if I ever do, I'll treat him to a beer or something.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
How about you, Kahai?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I kind of feel like the person that I was thinking of is almost in the opposite direction. They get obsessed with things, but it's in a different mindset, I think. And the person, or actually it's kind of a couple people, because there's one really good example, or I think is a good example that I wanted to share. But the person I think of is Brennan Lee Mulligan. He's the dungeon master for that show that I talk about, Dimension 20.
Yeah.
And the other person that I kind of wanted to mention is this guy, Josh Scherer, who he does a YouTube show and channel called Mythical Kitchen. And they do a show called Last Meals, where they make the last meal for guests to come on, Yeah. And then they'll talk about oh, why did you pick this food? Or usually it gets into kind of a deep dive of who is that person, or what makes up that person, But the story that I wanted to share is they're kind of both talking about how they're the type of person who will get really into something and be super nerdy about something. And that is a godsend that the internet was born, or that they're so lucky to be in this age of the internet where they can fit in, and they can actually make a living out of what they do. And Josh was like, oh, so are you saying that you're lucky that you are in the position that you are? And he's like, 100%. I could not have predicted that me loving to play D&D would have led me to have a career. It's this is a game that I just love to do. So I never thought that I would have anything come back for it. But Brennan was saying, because they get so into things, people kind of look at them weirdly. And he said somebody kind of was oh, if you know that you're not socially accepted, why don't you just not be that way? And he's like, I tried my hardest. I tried so hard. He gave an example of, he was interning for the late night show or something, and then there was a executive, they had a jar of honey and they kind of were smelling it, and they're like, does honey go bad to a totally random person, somebody else, right? And And then he's like, he got so excited. He's like, actually, honey preserves so well that they used to mummify Gaelic princes in it. He just saw that person's face and he's like, I fucked up, you know? Or it's like, he thought like, I'm gonna share this fact. This person is gonna like this fact so much, they're gonna give me a job on the late night show. It reminded me of me because it's like, people are like, yeah, if you know that people don't like this, you being so nerdy, why don't you just hide it? And it's like, I try, man, but sometimes it just comes out. It's hard. I can't stop it, you know? Like, when somebody says something and I know a fact about it, sometimes I even have that internal dialogue of like, Kai, don't share it. And it comes to a boiling point where it's like, actually,
it's like Tourette's.
Yeah. It's like,
but nerdy information.
Yeah. And I know there's been several points in my life where I share it and I can see the look on the person's face where it's like, oh, yeah, they did not think that I had this information, and then I would just blurt it out. It's like, oops, yeah.
Yeah. And then for Brennan Lee Mulligan, it's probably he knows that fact only because it increases his abilities to dungeon master for D&D, right?
Yeah, sometimes. Or he's on Dropout, that network online. And they have a show where every week the game show changes. And one week they made it where 3 contestants came in, they did challenges, and then they faked like they had to stop the shoot, like they had to stop because of a car alarm. They brought them back in the next week and then they did the same challenges, but the challenge was to beat their last record basically. And they had like no idea, right? So one of the things was like, name pasta shapes. And the first time they might have done like 5 or something. And then the next time they were doing like 12. And the host of the show was like, did you guys go home and like look up pasta shapes? And he was like, of course I looked up pasta shapes. Are you kidding me?
I'm not going in this blind.
Yeah. He was like, the last time you asked me questions about birds, I went home and I bought a game about birds just to do that. It's like, so I think it is the thing where once information hook gets into you, right? I think for him, it's like, oh, I'm going to look this up. Or for me, learning is fun, right? And learning is a hobby in of itself. So sometimes I'll just go down rabbit holes where I'm just like looking up stuff. And it's not necessarily because I'm like, I'm going to become an expert in this field. It's just like I start reading and I start absorbing information. So I think he's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like, this information is going to be useful to me when I do this. It's just like, I want to learn as much as I can about just as much different things as I can.
Yeah.
Okay, you know when you said that like you just gotta get this information out, it feels like a sneeze, yeah? Like it feels like can't hold it in, you gotta say it, because I just felt it just now. As soon as you're like, oh, we played this game with birds and stuff, I know that game.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, he's talking about Wingspan. The bird board game's called Wingspan, and the nerdy part about it is I don't play the game, I don't know the game, I don't know anything about the game, but I've seen the game before, and I know people who actually make custom pieces for that game, and I know 0 things about it.
And that other person I was talking about, Josh, sure, he's kind of the same way where you can kind of get him onto something and then he'll start talking about obscure track and field athletes, or he's a chef, so he'll talk about certain cooking techniques or certain foods. And I like that last meals video because it's like seeing 2 people who are on the same wavelength, right? And then when they come together, it's just like, okay, there's no holding back, or there's no like, oh, I don't know, should I say this or should I do this? It's kind of like when one person says something, the other person's like, yeah, I'll match your freak. Yeah, you say whatever you want, you know?
Yeah. I feel like both of those picks are great intros into both of those things. Like, even if you're not interested in D&D, go and watch some clips on YouTube of Dimension 20. And yeah, Brennan Lee Mulligan the way that he runs the game, it will immediately explain to you, like, even without a direct explanation of like what this is that they do. Like, if you've never been interested and you've never known anybody that played D&D and you don't really know how the game goes, this would be the best introduction. Like, he's such a good storyteller that he'll bring you into the world immediately and you'll get it, because that was basically what the first time that I watched him, it's basically like, okay, I get it, I get what this is and why this would be something that would be fun.
Yeah.
And then who was the other guy?
Josh Shear.
Yeah. So the Last Meals, I've seen a few episodes on YouTube. It's kind of like Hot Ones, right? At first, I thought it was just like, oh, this is just like a ripoff of Hot Ones. But the way that he goes about it and the threads that he pulls on are very different. He frames it a little different. So
Yeah. The whole idea is you get people to come on to eat their favorite foods, right? You see like some guests come on and they're like, okay, this is like an interview. And by the end of it, they're like, man, I really like you. Like, we should just get a beer after this. They actually want to be friends with him. Not just like, it was nice doing the interview. Thank you so much. They're kind of like, oh, you pulled out some really interesting or really deep things about myself that maybe even I wasn't thinking of too.
Yeah, because it's almost like the opposite of Hot Ones, right? With Hot Ones, it's sort of like the comedic factor, and then putting them into a situation that's uncomfortable will let them be more honest about things. So with like Last Meals, it's like more comforting, right? Like, it's all the things that I love. And so it's like I'm willing to open up because I feel like, oh, comforted.
Yeah. And I think because he's like that type of person where he gets into stuff too, it's kind of fun for me to watch that show because I feel like he pulls that out from other people too, right? Like he'll get them just to mention something that, oh yeah, I noticed that you like this. And because you like that, I did a deep dive into whatever that topic is. And you can just see their face light up and then they'll be like, yeah, and they can jump into it, you know, and he'll totally go along with it. He'll be like, okay, yeah, keep talking about it. Or like, yeah, let's keep going about this. And it's like they're there to, you know, promote like a movie or something. He's like such a good interviewer that they kind of like forget even that they're there for that. When he's like, oh yeah, you know, promote whatever's next. And then they're like, I don't know, just follow me or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, because the professionalism just kind of goes away and it just becomes, you know, like a conversation. Yeah.
They're a human.
Yeah. You're just like, okay, well, I have to mention this and this, this and this, you know?
Yeah.
But then when you're that comfortable, you're just like, well, you can do whatever you want.
It's like a lot of food sometimes. So they're like, I don't know, can we just bring out the pie again or whatever? Can we just bring out the milkshake? I want to eat more of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. Did it spark anything in you, Aldrine?
Yeah, so, you know, for the audience, I was trying to think of some people because I don't necessarily follow deep divers that much, or like not that I'm aware of. The one that I knew, only because, like I said earlier, I've been perusing the 4-Hour Body again. I was just talking about this with Aaron a few weeks ago that I wanted a new copy of that book because it's one of those books that you do want to like finger through. It's kind of like a cookbook, you know, where like I want to make this right now. So with Tim Ferriss, that was the first thing that I thought of. And then I started thinking about like who are people that are kind of like that would be obsessed with something, or kind of like Tim Ferriss would try to find like the best way possible to that thing. I thought of some people, but can it be people that I know, or does it have to be people that I don't know?
Oh yeah,
because I know a bunch of people that are exactly like that.
Yeah, the idea was just that we'll probably get some of the people that we know on here so that they can tell their own story. But yeah,
there's a few people that come to mind. First, I was thinking of Ryan. Ryan's one of those guys that gets obsessed with things, but because he's somebody that people kind of know already, I guess like through Ukulele Underground, if they're familiar with us, then they kind of know of Ryan a little, at least his name, you know. Like some people still get Aaron confused with Ryan to this day. So.
Yeah. Do you want to say, like, maybe give examples of Ryan has gotten into things and we've kind of been the, like, what is it, guinea pigs, or it's like we get to by proxy get into things that he's been into too?
Well, I mean, like working out, like that was one of the things that Ryan's been trying to get me into, and that's why I believe he's the one who got me the 4-Hour Body book, you know. And he would always just kind of give me advice on whatever it is that he's into. Like it's kind of like, Aldrine, you should be into this too because it's very important, you know. It's almost like anything that he's into right now is the most important thing. Like that's kind of how it always is, and he gets obsessed with it so much so that he'll like look for the people or look for like the best possible way to do something, you know. I guess we'll talk about Ryan. I didn't have Ryan.
Maybe
I said I was
eventually
gonna say Ryan,
we'll get him on. So
yeah, that's true. So the person I wanted to talk about, actually, I don't mention him that much anymore, is Colin Coleman. And the reason why I think he's one of those guys that deep dives and gets obsessed with things. He was right off like college, started hanging out and found us and started playing ukulele and stuff. And he was obsessed with the ukulele. And he took private lessons from me for years just to like be the best ukulele player that he can be. And then he started following where the trend went. Like, where is ukulele being performed right now? I'm gonna go to those places. Even if I have to fly to those places, if I have to rub elbows with those kind of people, I'm gonna do that so that I can be in that circle. And then he started getting into like photography. He met these guys who were like professional photographers. He hung out with them, tried to learn as much as possible, and then got like the best equipment that he can possibly get and started kind of doing the gigs that they were doing just to kind of learn and kind of absorb that entire scene for himself. And then he, you know, like took that and he ran off with it. And then from there, he got into like stand-up comedy, started like hanging out with the people, started going to the comedy clubs that the professionals would go to, would tell jokes, and he started learning from that. And then he started doing his own stand-up comedy thing. So anything that guy kind of sets his mind on, he's always going to try to find like what is like the best route to either do this professionally or have this be something that can work out for me, regardless of like if I'm a beginner at this, I've never done this before. Because ukulele or music in general, he's never done anything music, and then he jumped into it and he started getting on some stages, you know. So deep diver wise and guys who gets obsessed with those things, I think Colin's like up there with the best of them.
Nice. Can you find any of his stuff online, like his stand-up?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he has a website, but I mean, you know, I keep tabs on a bunch of my friends, and every time I log into Facebook like once in a blue moon, and I always see him doing like lots of different stuff. It's not just like lots of different stuff that has his toes dipped into. His body is fully submerged in like, you know, in
whatever
in those
it
things,
is,
like,
that the one thing that he's into right now.
yeah, which is very commendable because he's not a guy who's just gonna half-ass something, you know what I mean? Like ukulele, he didn't half-ass it. He took private lessons for years. Same thing, like I said, with photography, and then with stand-up comedy. He didn't just dip his toe in the water. He like dove right in, like for every single one of those. And if we're gonna name people that are just like us, I think he definitely belongs in that conversation. Proud of that guy.
Yeah. I think when I met him at NAM, that's National Association for Music Merchants. It's like a big music instrument, what is it, kind of thing?
Convention.
Yeah, a convention. He was there and he had his camera and he's taking pictures. And I just like talked to him about, he had a belt on, and then you could hook your camera onto your belt like directly, and it kind of stayed in place because he had multiple cameras. He would say like, oh yeah, if I do wedding photography, you know, it's nice to have my cameras there just ready to go. But then from that, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, what is that? And then we kind of talked, and then I went home and I bought like the same thing too. So even like that company that made that, I ended up getting more of their stuff because of Colin, because he's like, oh yeah, this is good, you know?
Yeah, because my wife is a professional photographer, and I've been the second shooter at like some of the weddings and whatnot. I've done some kind of photography work before, and you can kind of tell like Colin's progression. So like as somebody who's done photography before, like taking a look at his earlier stuff and looking at the stuff now and seeing like his progression throughout the years, it's like, yeah, this guy really put some hours into his work, you know? So at first I'm like, you know, that's cute that he's getting into it and whatever, but then like as the years go by, and you're like, man, he's still at it, and look how much better he's done. And I haven't talked to him in a while, and I'm pretty sure it's just because he's super obsessed with it and learning as much as possible. You can see the progression. It's incredible.
Yeah, we could probably get him on too, right? Eventually.
Probably. Yeah. He's like, who is this Aldrine?
Yeah, from my previous life.
Yeah, previous life. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's so much more successful now with the photography and the stand-up than he was with the ukulele. Not saying that like he wasn't like any good at ukulele, but he was just that good at the photography and the stand-up comedy thing. I mentioned him because I forgot to mention him during the stand-up comedy episode. So I gotta give him a shout out now, because he did it first before I did.
Nice.
Aaron, you want to mention somebody else?
Yeah. Another person that I was just thinking of, especially because we're talking about ukulele, we mentioned Colin and ukulele players. The one person that I think of when I think of like somebody who goes down the rabbit hole, and he's somebody that I haven't met and I won't be able to meet because he passed away, is John King. Yeah, if you're thinking about someone who just dedicated his life to diving down a rabbit hole, it's John King. So this guy, I think he was only like tangentially had Hawaii ties, right? I guess like he maybe came to Hawaii when he was a kid or something like that, but he never really lived here. But he was just so enamored with the ukulele that he was the de facto authority on the history of the ukulele. So any modern history book about the ukulele cites this guy. So So yeah, it's almost a guarantee. If anyone has written a book within the past 50 years about the ukulele, it's like
His name's in it.
yeah, his name is either in it or he's cited
Yeah.
as like a reference. And he was just doing it for fun. He was so into the ukulele that there was like a classical guitar style of playing called campanella, and he revived that classical, like it's not really like a popular style of playing. And so he revived it for the ukulele because the ukulele, like especially the re-entrant tuning, the high G ukulele is like perfect for doing that. And so anybody who uses campanella style ukulele now, it's because of John King.
Yeah.
It's because he was so into it that he even came up with his own basically technique of playing the ukulele. And so just an amazing person. And he used to have this website called Nalu Music, and it was basically like his blog, and he was just testing out ideas for articles that he would eventually put into more formalized books or publications or magazine articles. But on his blog, he was just tossing out ideas like rabbit holes about the history of the ukulele that he was diving down, and so much information. And if you just read what he wrote, it's just like so obvious that he loved this instrument so much that he just wanted to spend like every waking hour like researching it, playing it, learning more, getting better. If you looked at him, you wouldn't think immediately like ukulele player, because he was like this kind of white guy with like curly hair, older white guy. And as soon as he started playing, it was just like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
he's incredible.
so you can look up stuff on YouTube of him playing John King ukulele. You'll find tons of videos of him playing, but it was just because he loved it so much. And he wrote books. He transposed a bunch of classical music. So if you've ever tried to learn classical music on the ukulele, you've probably stumbled across his tabs and his music. Yeah. When I look at what he's done, it's obvious that he's like one of us. He couldn't help himself. It was whether or not he made money doing it, irrelevant.
Sounds
Yeah.
exactly like us.
Yeah. So if you're interested at all in ukulele, you probably have seen some of his stuff already, but look into him more.
Yeah.
I don't think his website is up anymore. You might be able to find it on like the Internet Archive or Wayback Machine. And his work has been published in Ukulele Magazine and reprinted and stuff like that too. But yeah, just read some of his stuff, buy some of his books. For a while on his website, he had a store where he took old publications, so like stuff that was now in the public domain. He made really good scans of them and then he offered them for like minimal pricing, like, you know, Ernest Ka'ai's books that he put out on ukulele, a bunch of those really old ukulele manuals. He just made them available for purchase on his website, and it was basically the cost of the paper. And so after he passed away, I think his wife was running his website and she was still sending out those paper publications that he made, and I bought maybe a couple of them, and when I ordered it, I was just amazed that it still came.
Were you scared that like, oh well, since he's passed, like I don't know who's doing this anymore?
Yeah, I don't even know who it was that
Yeah.
was sending it out, but you know, somebody was doing it for him for a while after he passed, because apparently he died in 2009 and this was at least 7 or 8 years later. So
Yeah, that guy was incredible. I mean, like, there's been many times in like my ukulele career where I just felt like kind of lost as to like, okay, where do I go now? And then it's not in that way where like I know everything, where like I know there's so much to learn, but like where do I start? One of the times that I had that kind of crossroad, by looking at John King's stuff, I felt like that's where I made like the biggest leaps in my skill. Not just by like learning his songs, but trying to break down the why. Like, why did he do this? Why did he use this chord shape? Or why did he go with this run instead? And I think that made me really appreciate the kind of work that he puts into like the, I'm not too familiar with his work like publications wise and stuff, but as far as like his arranging and his ukulele skills, it's pretty unmatched. Only because like he took something that nobody what he was doing. So that's something that he built for himself. It's not like you could go back to like the first, second, third wave of the ukulele and like there was guys doing that. Like, no, there was nobody. So he just was so obsessed with it that he created a kind of campanella technique, and he wasn't just good at it. Like, he was like really, really good at it, because as a modern player, I'm always trying to figure out, like, is there a better way to do this? And I'm stumped. You know what I mean? Like, I would kind of retrace his steps and I'm like, okay, well, is there a better way to play that, like voicing or whatever? And there is. It's insane. It's insane because it's not regular chord shapes, you know? So that's what's kind of messed up about it, because it's like he had to created that chord shape, and one chord shape flows to another, flows to another, flows to another. And those are chord shapes that he made, you know?
Yeah. He discovered it basically.
Right. So for those of you folks who play music, when you play chord shapes on, say, like the guitar or the piano or whatever, there's certain intervals between each note, or the distances between each note that you're playing, because you're playing multiple notes so that they sound good together. But in the campanella technique, it's like notes in sequence,
like in the melody.
So it's not a chord where those notes sound good together. His chords were like cluster chords that were right next to each other. So if you play it by itself, it sounds horrendous, but when you play it separate, it's magical. So he created chord shapes that will like complement the campanella technique, but then also be efficient. Like, that's insane.
And the whole idea too of campanella, right, is that you're using a chord shape to hold the chords and to play the notes to let them ring out. Because you're like holding it down, you're not stopping the note when you have to move your chord shape or you have to move your hand to another place. You're trying to let it ring for as long as you can too, right?
Yeah.
Because like people might hear the note sequences and be like, oh, that's easy, you just gotta play it like these notes or these things. But the whole idea is that you hold it down as a chord to play the sequence of notes, not just playing it as like a picking or something.
Yeah. And I always kind of go back to, because I was recently learning A Psalm Like a Bird by James Hill. And, you know, just like listening to that, I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a high G finger picking song that's got like all these banjo-y kind of techniques to it. Like, that's what it sounds like. But dude, half that song is campanella, and I didn't realize like how much campanella is in that song. So James Hill actually like is one of the best guys that blends the modern style with the style of John King with campanella. That song in particular, a great example, because it doesn't sound like it leans too heavily into the campanella technique, but it's definitely in there. If you're playing that song, there's no way to play it without having to use that technique. So that technique is like a prerequisite to trying to play that song. And I mean, I've done nods to it, but not in a way that like A Psalm Like a Bird is, you know? Like, I've done it like in Chocolate Fontaines. There's like, you know, definitely some lines in there that I use the campanella, but the way that James Hill does on his is a great like marriage of modern techniques and John King's campanella.
Yeah. And I believe that James met John.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Right? I think they were friends. So, yeah, if we ever get James Hill on, then maybe we can ask him about John King. Because so I feel like both of them are like rabbit hole divers. Right?
Yeah. I would like to invite James to this podcast and not talk about ukulele at all.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure we'd still have a great podcast.
I guess, yeah, that would kind of be the point. But
yeah.
But on the side, yeah, tell me about John King. Man. Like, damn. So, you guys have any more, or should we save it for the extended?
Yeah,
let's save it for this extended.
I do have one more, but then yeah, I'll save it for extended PP.
All right, so we got a hard stop today, so we got to make sure that we get everything in. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, all of you Pastime Paradise podcast listeners.
Strandees.
Well, no, I mean, the Strandees are only
that.
the ones that actually pay us through Patreon.
Right.
So you can become a Strandee if you go to patreon.com/Pppod. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
See, that's why I love Aaron, man. He spiked that setup that I just did. See how he did that, guy? Bam.
That's like a setup where the ball hits your face and then it goes into the air and then Aaron spikes it, because you're like,
hell yeah.
Oh yeah, the Strandees are the Patreon.
yeah. No. You know, there's sacrifices that need to be made, and I'll sacrifice myself for that.
But yeah, thank you to our Strandees. And if you want to become a Strandee, then you basically get these episodes 1 week early, and then you get all of our bonus episodes. So like, how many bonus episodes are we up to?
We've been making a bonus episode along with the podcast since I think episode 5 or so. So we have about 18 maybe.
Oh, dang. Yeah, so if if you've listened to all of these already and you're ready to jump onto the Strandy tier, come and hang out with us even more.
Yeah.
Some of our bonus episodes were like better than the regular episode. And some of them were longer than the regular episode. So they were supposed to only be like half an hour. Some of them stretched to like hour plus. So
We just can't help ourselves.
I think
45 minutes maybe.
yeah, I think sometimes we record for an hour and then
Yeah,
we cut
yeah.
it down.
Yeah, Kahai tries to trim the fat, so we have a lot of ums and pauses and stuff like that. So Kahai has been really good at that. So.
Yeah, I've noticed how articulate I sound, like in the final product.
Yeah.
Kai makes me sound so good and well rehearsed.
There's still a lot of ums and stuff for me.
Yeah, but no, but
it's,
still,
it's
he makes
less.
it sound so good.
But thank you. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you either on the bonus episodes or on the next one. So thanks.